who am I? And furthermore, what do I want? What makes you itch? That's the most important investigation anyone can make. But you don't find this out until you investigate it. So I always ask the question, what would you like to do if money were no object? How would you really enjoy spending your life? Because if you say that money is the most important thing, you will spend your life completely wasting your time. Forget the money. After all, if you do really like what you're doing, you can eventually become a master of it. And then you'll be able to get a good fee for whatever it is. Therefore, it's so important to consider this question. What do I desire?
Hey, you gonna do this or what? You gotta do it. And keep doing it. Do it big. Bigger. Hit it. Step it up. Always in the position to win. Do it with one hand behind your back.
One now.
Do it blindfolded.
Next.
Do it your endorsement deal. Say you shouldn't.
Section 43C, no rope swing over canyon dunks.
Like what's happening? Do what they say you can't.
Can you?
Because there are those who don't and those who do. Yes, sir. Let's do.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Clyde Field on the campus of Utah Valley University for tonight's matchup between the Utah Valley Wolverines and the UTEP Miners. Brandon Crow alongside Melanie Osler. Thank you for letting us be a part of your Saturday evening, a Saturday filled with college football, but here in Orem, Utah, this is the original football. Soccer is what they call it here in the States. Utah Valley coming home after a very tough road trip in California where they dropped 2 in the Bay Area, one against San Jose State in overtime, and then another one last week against Santa Clara. UTEP, very, very tough team coming in, led by head coach Catherine Balogan. Utah Valley, as we see it and as you see it, will be in their third jerseys, the Midnight Black edition, going from right to left this first half, and the Miners from UTEP will be going from left to right as you see it and we see it. And it's game on, UTEP and Utah Valley, live on the KSL TV app, YouTube TV, and Utah Valley is just getting right into it with an early opportunity, 10 seconds into the match by Julie Carter off her left foot, and you can see the intensity of this Utah Valley team has been ramped up after what happened to them last weekend. You can tell that the weekend was rough for them. They came home with 2 pairs of losses and would like different results, and now they're finally on their home pitch, and you know that they are definitely going to be taking it right to them, especially with their lineup right now playing a 4-2-3-1. It's just really packing in that offense. I know that Coach Chris LeMay really was anticipating Madeline Moore's return, and you can see her on the pitch today, and it's just she's adding to the attack. She's going to add to the pressure and the intensity going forward, as you can see. There's Amber Tripp, sent this one in toward the box, trying to go far post to Brita Wall, and this one cradled safely into the arms of the goalkeeper, Emily Parrott, for the Miners. Utah Valley this season at home is 2-0, and Melanie, you can attest that no matter really what the record is on the road, Utah Valley has yet to win on the road so far this season, but there's a special magic to Clyde Field, and when you come home and play in front of your home crowd, play where you're familiar with, you feel a lot more confidence, and it shows on the pitch. It does, and you can see it just this first 2 minutes of the game. They love the home feeling. They love hearing the Green Men group in the background playing with them, and it's just ultimately gives you that feeling and gets you so much more excited for the game. But granted, UVU has played some tough road games,
and I think that also results in finally getting that safe home feeling of we'll play our game here on home.
Brianna Hatch, left boot towards the box. Corral momentarily. And kicked down there. Stainbrook trying to go far post and tried to curl that one in. Just didn't curl at the end. Perfect distance, though.
Oh, perfect distance. And a great layoff by Julie Carter up top, and a great vision by Heather trying to get it curled into that top right corner. And again, just with the formation showing that Heather can release up into that forward position and get those opportunities. I think we'll see a lot of those shots from her today.
UTEP is 4-1-2 overall this season. Utah Valley 2-4-0.
A lot of those matches from UTEP, Brandon, have actually been against WAC conference opponents that UVU will see here in the conference play, including 3 UTRGV, Grand Canyon, and New Mexico State. So overall, this game is going to be an awesome game to kind of set us up for conference, see where we're at, see how we'll be able to compete with these other teams in conference compared to the higher-end teams that UVU has been playing this preseason.
And what really you said is kind of like a litmus test for Utah Valley, the first real litmus test of the season.
Exactly. It will be kind of the assessment of where we're at, where we have a few more games going into conference. They've played a few of our opponents, kind of can compare on paper how we'll face up with these different teams.
And UTEP sees their first action in the Utah Valley side of the pitch. And Utah Valley will take confidence as well tonight, knowing that Ali Hara, who missed the last match or so due to some injuries, is back between the wickets, the fifth-year senior. Again, we've talked all throughout the season and a lot of broadcasts about what she really brings to this team and that confidence level, and knowing that you have a general and a captain back there.
It makes the biggest difference. She is a tremendous leader. She's a tremendous player. She just has a great presence in that goal. Like we've said in past, something that they've been lacking the past couple years. But as a defensive line and as a team as a whole, it really does make the biggest difference knowing that you have a solid protector, safety option back in the net protecting you if you make any mistakes. She's a great asset to this team, and I know the whole team is thrilled to have her back.
Especially Coach LeMay.
Especially Coach LeMay.
Hannah Bruce on the near side for the Wolverines gives off to Breeda Wall. Trying to go 1-2 passing there. This one skipped through the legs of Hannah Bruce. I'm not sure if she tried to play a dummy to somebody that she thought was there. But the Miners now trying to forge their way into Utah Valley territory. Carry on with it. Flicks out of play. It'll be a throw-in for the Miners. And Maddie Moore again with her first official minutes of action. Flicks it up. Now Maddie Moore again trying to find Heather Stainbrook. Stainbrook in pursuit. And solid defending there on that back line by Nicole Pugsley.
A beautiful ball by Madeline Moore, again showing how much this team has missed her. Just that possession that she creates in that midfield. I'd love to see the stats of the pass completion rate of these teams, because Madeline Moore, in my mind, would have some of the top rates. Beautiful vision, beautiful backspin ball. Almost had enough backspin to just drop and stop right for Heather Stainbrook to put it in the back of the net.
It's the little things in soccer that really matter most. You know, people take a look at the goals, shots on goals, things like that, but it's the in-between plays and the passing that gets overlooked, in my opinion.
Definitely. Overall, those are the moments that create those scoring opportunities and those shots, and so the possession and the pass completion rates are so crucial in the game of soccer. It means that you're connecting passes to your own teammates and eventually leading up to the shot that will create the goal.
Again, if you're just now joining us, Utah Valley, 10 seconds into the match, went down deep into the UTEP territory and had a shot saved very quickly by Emily Parrott on the near post. And ever since then, Utah Valley's been putting the pressure on the Miners. But now the Miners find themselves a little bit more composed. So really, the most composed that they've had been so far in this match. And Breedewall wins the throw-in for Utah Valley. And you can hear Coach LeMay yelling for Utah Valley in the background for his players to get in the right position. Breedewall trying to make a connection to Julie Carter. And the Miners intercept. Here comes Hannah Bruce flying in from behind on the defensive side. Ball kept alive by the Miners. It eventually led out of play and be a Utah Valley throw-in again. (0-0) in the 8th minute on the campus of Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah, about 35-40 miles south of Salt Lake City. It's a beautiful Saturday evening in September. Stainbrook. This one deflects off of Kayla Payne. This is the first of 3 straight games at home for Utah Valley here at Clyde Field. A big rivalry matchup on Monday against crosstown rival and nationally ranked BYU. And then after that, they host San Diego next Friday. Here's Maddie Moore, not wearing her traditional bright shoes tonight, her cleats. Those were her staple last year. Maybe we'll send you into the huddle to try and figure out why that is. But here come the Miners on the other side with a little bit of speed. And that moment of offense quickly snuffed out by Utah Valley. Jenna Shepard on the far side. Now to Bree Hatch. Bree Hatch sends a searching ball that gets quickly headed down by defensive back Jackie Miller. And then yet again, one-touch passing. Amber Tripp trying to slide it through. Nothing doing. Emily Parrott scoops it up. But it's the activity. It's the constant moving, it's the constant activity, and the presence of Utah Valley in UTEP territory that's really giving UTEP fits right now.
It is. They're being very dangerous. Not only are they being quick, sending it towards the goal, but they're kind of confusing the defense by their small, quick touches. As you could see, Bree DeWaltz, that small touch, laying it off to Amber Tripp for that shot. It really confuses the defense and mixes it up and breaks them down very easily. And so that has been an awesome strength that we have seen from UVU, is their quick one-touch passes, combination play, resulting them to get closer and closer and creating that craziness in the defensive line for our opponents.
Jenna Shepard now to Maddie Moore in the heart of the field for Utah Valley. Bree Hatch with the left boot on the far side.
Oh, you're good. You're on.
Sullivan back to Hatch. Hannah Bruce wide open here on the near side, calling for it with her hand up. Now Amber Tripp. Amber Tripp surrounded by about 4 white jerseys. Lays it off for Heather Stainbrook, who comes away with it for Utah Valley. And back toward that right-hand side of the field, and Sullivan. Sullivan going 1v1. Goes toward that end line. And that'll be tapped away for a corner kick. First of the match, and first for Utah Valley. We've seen Utah Valley be the victim against corners so far this season, but I know that last year, again, another point that we've talked about, Melanie, is set pieces were what Coach LeMay was really proud of, and so far they have yet to be really successful with that.
Yeah, it's definitely something that they've been working on, but for their credit, they've been getting closer and closer each set piece, maybe not going the way that they practice and that Coach Chris LeMay hopes to, but the more repetition and the closer they get, the sooner that it will pay off.
What are the keys to a successful set piece? Obviously, you want to get the ball in the back of the net, but what are the functionalities of getting that set piece created?
Ultimately, the number one is the perfect ball in, and not even perfect, just a good quality ball in, kind of with what you have in mind. I know Coach Chris LeMay has some short corners where you go on the ground and then play it long, but ultimately number one, getting a good quality ball in, and then once the ball is in the goal or the goal box, it ultimately is desire and determination to get anything on that ball to send it towards the corner or towards the net. I often tell my little girls that I coach that it's sometimes even a toe. You just need to get a toe, a knee, anything to redirect it towards the back of the net.
There's a first shot by UTEP right at Alihara in the post, as UTEP is starting to awaken here offensively. That shot came from the far side. Jackie Soto. Searching ball again, trying to find Julie Carter with the sprint. And the ball somehow stayed in play and eventually kicked away and out by that UTEP defensive line. The 14th minute here at Clyde Field in Orem, Utah, on a Saturday, September 14th. Still 0-0, Utah Valley and UTEP territory. Inching closer to finding that breakthrough. Game time temperature about 86 degrees. As the sun sets, it'll get cooler and cooler. Perfect soccer temperatures. Nice back heel flick by Bree Hatch, but nobody there for the Wolverines. This time intercepted by the Miners. And Maddie Moore with that arm brace of hers showing off a little bit more aggression.
It's what we've missed. It's what we've been anticipating for her return. A great, solid player who unfortunately missed a good amount of their games due to that elbow injury at their team retreat first thing in the season. So there's no better feeling than being back on the field for the first time. And all the excitement and energy is going to show through Maddie Moore today.
Alihara trying to quickly get that one away as Lauren Crenshaw showing off her speed and athleticism on that left-hand side in that dead sprint. And there's Bree DeWall trying to find Stainbrook. Stainbrook keeping it in play. Stainbrook trying to penetrate toward the box, sends a searching ball again. This one deflected up and into the back of the net. Utah Valley 1, UTEP nothing. The first goal coming in the 15th minute. Looked like an own goal. There was a ball that was played, and I think the defensive back tried to clear it out and just went straight into the back of the net over Emily Parrott. Nothing she could do, and not the start that the Miners would have liked. We see the ball crossed. It looks like it just goes right off of Kayla Payne's knee over Emily Parrott into the back of the net.
Definitely a great start for UVU, showing their pace, showing their pressure, and it results in a goal, kind of like we were anticipating the first couple minutes. A beautiful ball in towards the 18, and that's what happens when Julie Carter shows her speed, gets UTEP center back facing the goal, worried about Julie Carter getting something on it, and unfortunately hits off her knee, deflects in for an own goal.
It all counts the same, and Utah Valley would take it any way they can. And a substitution early, Jackie Soto steps off, and JoJo Ngongo checks back in.
Good job, guys.
Gongo seeing her first minutes of action. Plays it back to Jackie Miller. And Miller on the near side in Marquez. Marquez with the left boot toward that top of the box. Now eventually play it all the way on the other side. Tessa Carlin trying to make chase. Crenshaw penetrates the box. Solid defensive play by that back line of Utah Valley. Maddie Moore kicks it upfield. Not enough to get it past the UTEP, however. This one sent in toward the box again by UTEP. Bouncing around dangerous territory. Miners are starting to get a little bit more confidence. Breaking down that inline is Marquez. Marquez being marked by Bree DeWall, eventually off of DeWall. Still in Miners' possession. Nice play by UTEP. This one sent in toward that back post. Headed away by Megan Sullivan. Now there's Amber Tripp, the team's leading goal scorer. Plays it off for Sullivan again. And played all the way back to Hara. Now Jenna Shepard. And Shepard now to Hannah Bruce. Jenna Shepard now to Stainbrook. Shepard in the middle of the field to Maddie Moore. Moore to Stainbrook. Stainbrook lays it off to Breda Wall. Breda Wall can't get there in time. Fighting for it down toward the end line. This one sent it toward the box, headed momentarily away by that brief back line. The referee's going to signal a free kick for Utah Valley. Breda Wall will do the honors. And another opportunity for Utah Valley to strike. 18th minute. Breda Wall with Heather Stainbrook to her right. DeWall with the hand raised. Sent this one toward the near post. Flick on the ball, had an open net. Just missed by Utah Valley, and the UTEP Miners can breathe a sigh of relief. There's a wide open net on that right side.
I think Amber Tripp's faking it, letting it through, kind of faked everybody else. They weren't anticipating the ball to come right across the goal line. But again, it kind of goes back to exactly what I said, and that's the moment where you just need to slide and get something in. The goal or the ball's already past the goalie; it's beat the goalie. You just got to get it in the back of the net at that point.
Jimerson goes against Breda Wall. Jimerson with the penetration towards that byline. Jimerson now flicks it toward that back post, headed away by Sullivan for Utah Valley. Jimerson on the ground, slow to get up. Breda Wall trying to keep it in play, cannot, and it'll be a UTEP throw. So 19 minutes in, Utah Valley on top, 1-0, courtesy of an own goal by UTEP. Kayla Payne in the 10th minute. Now UTEP trying to get that one goal back as they're putting some pressure on the back line of Utah Valley at the moment. Gongo with the throw. Headed away by Shepard for Utah Valley. Now Hannah Bruce with the left boot. And this one kicked out of play by the Miners.
Ready, kick three.
Moore back to Shepard. Shepard with Haskins on her right. Elects to go upfield. Headed by Julie Carter, trying to find Breda Wall on the left-hand side again. Breda Wall been very pesky on this left-hand side so far in the offensive side for Utah Valley. And Breda Wall slowly starting to come into playing form, as this one was kicked out of play by Hannah Bruce for Utah Valley. Breda Wall, one of several members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints for this Utah Valley Wolverines team, who served a mission for 18 months. She was over in Romania, got back about 2.5-3 months ago, and here she is playing collegiate soccer. And when you're on her mission, you don't practice, you don't train. You get maybe 30 minutes every morning, and you choose to do so, whatever it is, in that 30 minutes. But
yeah.
she kept herself physically fit enough to come right back in and get right into the starting lineup again.
She did. It's definitely a sacrifice that each of these individuals have to make, especially when you're a D1 collegiate athlete, knowing that you're not going to be at that level for 18 months. And unfortunately for Bree, she had a short turnaround, get home, report, welcome home, and then got right into it with the preseason. But like you said, we have been seeing her come back, get back into the groove of things, and she's almost there.
This was a player that was 2 years ago all WAC and very well voted the MVP of her team, and depending on what circles you speak with, the most valuable player in the whole conference.
Yeah, she left off of that conference tournament win, was MVP of that tournament, and yeah, definitely very crucial player of all of the WAC conference. And UVU definitely missed her the season she was gone, and are so thrilled to have her back. And as you can see, her in that forward position, going into the midfield, creating the passes and possession that she does, and getting in towards the attack is something that was hard to replace while she was gone. And so it's been exciting to have her back.
23rd minute here in Orem, Utah. Utah Valley on top, 1-0 over the Miners of UTEP. UTEP still yet to break through. They have one credited shot on goal, no corner kicks. Utah Valley 2 shots on goal with 1 corner. Hannah Bruce zigzags her way into the UTEP Miners side of the pitch, trying to go inside out with that boot. Upfield trying to find Breda Wall. Kicked out of play. Now Jenna Shepard. Maybe if this was high school again, probably voted team spirit.
Yeah, but soon to be much more. Another member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints who decided to go on the mission, and her timing couldn't be any better, coming back as a redshirt freshman, and came back in the spring, got a little soccer under her belt, and was able to settle in. And now you can see she is such a crucial part of this back line. She is a stud, completes that line, is ultimately a brick wall. We've seen barely anything get past her, and so it's been so fun to see her back there, and she will definitely be in the runnings for a lot more awards in the near future.
So far, Utah Valley has dominated the possession in this game. But UTEP hanging tough on the defensive side. This one off of Bree Hatch. Jackie Miller, the freshman from El Paso, Texas, the pride of Franklin High School, kicked it off the Hatch to earn the throw-in, which is quickly taken by Lily Marquez, and kicked all towards that back line for the Miners of UTEP. Miller again, pressing forward. Gongo trying to dummy that one to herself, and Ali Hara comes up to flick it over to Hannah Bruce. And Utah Valley is going to switch up the field and go the opposite side, on the right side with Megan Sullivan. And the speed of Crenshaw again. And this one barely gets by Hara, but on the outside of the netting. And that one ignited the UTEP bench, got them up on their feet, as they're looking for a spark.
Yeah, Crenshaw will definitely be the player to create that spark for the UTEP team. You could see it right then and there, her speed, her pace, her pressure, and kind of not putting her foot on the brake until she got the result she wanted. It came close. It came very close, their closest look. But yeah, definitely the spark that is going to ignite something for this UTEP team that UVU needs to be aware of.
It's called the setting in Sony cameras. It's called
This is the 10th time that UTEP and Utah Valley have met together. UTEP leads that series 6-3. The last one of these meetings came September 18th of 2015, where UTEP defeated Utah Valley 1-0, and that was in Texas.
It was indeed. Remember it too well. It should be
A different
out of
outcome?
my memory.
Yeah.
But yes, it should have been a different outcome.
Breida Wall to Hannah Bruce, who has a flag up as she is offsides. Hannah Bruce trying to sneak past that back line of defense for UTEP and got her hand caught in the cookie jar. Trying to sneak one in, but the referees caught it.
Not very often do you see a defender be offsides in
Touche.
the game of soccer, but that's what I love most.
That's Hannah Bruce.
Yeah, that's Hannah Bruce. That's UVU style, getting those outside backs up in the attack, adding one more player to the attack. It's something that is so amazing for the style of play that UVU plays, and creates so many dangerous opportunities for UVU.
The whistle is blown, foul is called. This will be a free kick for the Miners of UTEP. The Miners getting set up toward the 19-20. Some on the 18, top of the box, the edge. Here comes that ball. And headed very easily out of the harm's way by Bree Hatch as Heather Stainbrook is on the far side being harassed by Jackie Miller. Miller wins that battle. Still in Miner possession. Miller and Stainbrook going towards that end line. Another whistle is called. And it's going to stay in UTEP possession. Be a free kick for the Miners. So we approach the 29th minute, so flirting with the half-hour mark of the match. Utah Valley still holding on to that 1-0 lead, courtesy of an own goal in the 10th. Credit given to Kayla Payne, the defensive back for UTEP. And UTEP finds the equalizer off of the free kick. All tied back up at 1. It's a fresh new game now in the 29th minute.
Saw it coming, especially after an own goal. UTEP's energy and fight to kind of prove that goal should have not been deserved on UVU's part. It's very dangerous position on the field for that free kick, and kind of snuck its way into the back of the net.
It looks like nobody even touched it. And it looks like Jackie Miller was the one who's credited with the score. Jackie Miller gets credit for tying up this ball game. 1-1 in the 29th. Jocelyn Bybee checks into the match for the first time for the Wolverines, as well as Sadie Brockbank. Sadie Brockbank missed the first couple games of the season with some ankle injuries and slowly been trying to get back into the mix for Utah Valley. The team's leading goal scorer last year, trying to find that form yet again. But after UTEP has technically scored 2 goals in this match, they're definitely more awake on the offensive side.
Yeah, UTEP is definitely in their games past has shown that one of their biggest strengths is keeping themselves inside of the ball game and tying it up, getting down, tying it up, and taking the game into overtime like they have the past few games. And so hopefully for both teams, I know that nobody likes to go into overtime, so hopefully for either team that they'll be able to break the tie and get on top again.
Head coach Chris LeMay very much active especially after that last goal that just snuck in by the Miners.
Yeah, definitely probably a couple defensive breakdowns with that UTEP goal that probably set a lot of the coaches off for UVU. That will be a goal that they will analyze over and over again, seeing who should have stepped, who should have headed it at least.
There's a clever backhander now. Sadie Brockbank with an opportunity. Brockbank curls one, this one just wide. That was a beautiful flick on Sadie Brockbank. Just barely missed it on the wide.
Just barely. It's coming. She's showing it. Great touch playing the ball around, and unfortunately took her angle a little further away from goal, but still barely snuck it into the back of the net.
And another thought that continues to slip people's minds is really how young and new and fresh this Utah Valley team is. Sure, they're 6 games into the season, but they have so many new faces and new different parts that are trying to be put together to really become a cohesive unit.
They are. A lot of freshmen have been coming in and been expected to make that instant impact and meshing with the team. And not only are these freshmen and young players trying to mesh with the team and the style of UVU play, they're trying to get used to the whole new level of Division I soccer. One of the biggest transitions that most newcomers struggle with is speed of play. The speed of the players, speed of the balls, the passes, everything is just so much faster here on the Division I level, and so it's an adjustment for sure. And you can see that not only are they adjusting to that, they're trying to get in the feel of things and get to where they know they can play.
So it looks like Jackie Miller will step off the pitch, the goal scorer for the Miners. And coming on for Jackie Miller will be Haley Vaughn, a sophomore from Maple Ridge, British Columbia, Canada. "33rd minute here in Orem Field. And it looks like Nicole Olanda and Brenna Crow are set to check back in at the next opportune moment for Utah Valley. 2 familiar faces who have been starting, and this is the first game so far this season that we haven't seen them on the backside of that defensive line. But again, Coach LeMay trying to switch up and move around pieces and parts and give people rest where he feels fit, and trying to get different looks, especially an athletic team like UTEP. Sadie Brockbank on the outside of the box, sends this one in toward that back post, headed down, Jocelyn Bybee. Flicked away momentarily by the Miners. Maddie Moore to Bree Hatch. Bree Hatch kicks this one toward Jocelyn Bybee again. Bybee trying to skirt around that UTEP defensive side. This one flicked in toward the box. Deflected. Kicked by Bree Hatch. Deflection. Off that back line. Looks like that was Lily Marquez, who just got enough leg on it to make it easy for Emily Parrott to scoop it up.
Yeah, slowed the pace down, redirected it, took away an opportunity that could have been very dangerous shot by Bree Hatch, especially with the leg of hers. Beautiful ball by Sadie Brockbank, making an instant impact as she's come on, creating almost 2 scoring opportunities.
Now Maddie Moore. Go. Now on the near side again with Marquez, who plays it back, this time to Corey Lewis. Vaughn to Lewis again. Instead, she's going to try and go upfield. Trying to find Tessa Carlin. This one taken away by Katie Haskins. Now Hannah Bruce going to collect it for a second. She sends this one up to Sadie Brockbank. Brockbank trying to find that touch. Couldn't do so. Megan Sullivan dispossesses, calls for it, gets it back, and plays it back to Jenna Shepard. "35th minute here in Clyde Field in Orem, Utah. Thank you for letting us be a part of your Saturday evening. Deflected out of play. And Brenna Crow and Nicole Londa check in for the first time. And Maddie Moore and I believe it's Megan Sullivan will be checking out.
A great comeback for Maddie Moore. Barely lost it, probably getting in the hang of playing the full game again and getting back on that fitness level. But overall, a great show by her this first half.
Momentarily taken away by Heather Stainbrook. Whistle is called. Foul off of the ball by the Wolverines. And UTEP back with it in the 36th minute. Vaughn taken away by Hannah Bruce. Hannah Bruce has some numbers. Jocelyn Bybee to her left. Instead, tries to go through the middle to Stainbrook, who gets knocked down momentarily. This one kicked off by Hannah Bruce by Lily Marquez. The drum line you hear in the back is Utah Valley's signature group, the Green Men Group. They take after the Blue Men Group from Las Vegas. Not very many soccer squads can say they have their own drum line that represents them, and that's another thing that Utah Valley takes a lot of pride in, playing at Clyde Field and having a group of about 12 to 15 guys dressed up in green jumpsuits. Nobody knows their identities, playing and banging on drums, making noise.
There's nothing better. They're awesome. Never miss a game. Gets you going. Honestly, ultimately, kind of probably better than cheerleaders.
UTEP throw-in. UTEP receiving some last-second coaching from the sideline before tossing it in. Lily Marquez from Dallas, Texas. The two-handed toss. Rachel Anderson checks in for Utah Valley. Vanessa Cabello checks in for the Miners of UTEP. Emerson Kidd steps off to take a breather, as well as Amber Tripp, one of the captains for the Utah Valley Wolverines. 38th minute, still 1-1. First goal came in the 10th minute off of an own goal by UTEP's Kayla Payne. And then UTEP scored the equalizer in the 29th minute, courtesy of Jackie Miller. A free kick from the right-hand side went untouched into the back of the net. And another whistle is blown against Utah Valley. And a free kick for the Miners. Crow to Haskins. Now on the near side to Hannah Bruce. Heather Stainbrook. Shepard to Bruce. Bruce waits for the defense to come, and then she sprints upfield. The referee blows a whistle, reaches toward that chest pocket. Reaches in there, finds the yellow card. As Cam Fisher.
A great job by Hannah Bruce showing off her pace as she tries to get going up the field. And ultimately, when you are going up against a fast Hannah Bruce like that, the only thing that is going to stop her is taking her down to the ground.
So Cam Fisher, the guilty party. First booking of the match comes in the 39th minute. Utah Valley trying to go quick. Sadie Brockbank with it in the box toward the top. Jenna Shepard with the boot on it. Bodies all over the field. Ball down. Whistle is finally blown. An SOS white flag was waved And UTEP has a goal kick.
A little questionable. Poor Jenna Shepard not being able to do anything else rather than be on the ground trying to get it out from there. But Jenna showing how dangerous of a threat she is getting in that box on those attacking free kicks.
Shepard switching up the pace, going to Brenna Crow on the far side for Utah Valley. Now Brenna Crow trying to go upfield to Jocelyn Bybee. This one headed back down by UTEP. Another hard tackle on the far side. Rachel Anderson goes down, quickly gets back up for Utah Valley. Jocelyn Bybee dancing her way through that back line of defense for UTEP. Left boot on the near side, trying to find Sadie Brockbank. And good pursuit from the backside by UTEP. And tempers starting to flare a little bit of aggression, some frustration probably. Physicality just went up about 100% in the last 90 seconds.
It sure did. Sadie Brockbank showing a little bit of her personality, but that's why we love her. She's a great hustler, and she's not going to deal with anything else.
Less than 5 minutes to play here in the first frame. Utah Valley and UTEP tied up 1-1. Utah Valley still looking for their first technical goal of the match. Again, the 10th minute goal came off of an own goal by Kayla Payne for UTEP. And Jackie Miller scored the equalizer in the 29th. Utah Valley's been close. 2 shots on goal, but haven't put one in the back of the net. Some good passing and good flow right now by the Miners of UTEP. Katie Haskins. This one toward the top of the pitch. Good spin move, good body control by the Miners. And Jenna Shepard doing exactly what you said she does, keeping her ground and being a fortress back there in those 1v1 situations. Hatch for the Wolverines to Katie Haskins. Haskins going upfield. Now Brenna Crow slowing down that pace momentarily for the Wolverines. And Stainbrook on the ground for Utah Valley. Good one-touch passing. Lays it off now. There's Brockbank. Nicole Landa trying to find Stainbrook. Flag stays down. And she had Jocelyn Bybee and Heather Stainbrook both trying to get that chip, but Emily Parent came up to do well to take that opportunity away from the Wolverines.
Another close look by UVU. Sadie Brockbank has shown that she has a strong leg, and I wish we could have maybe seen her take that shot when she was up at the top of the 18 instead of passing it off, but Nikki Yolanda ultimately doing a great job at keeping that possession and creating another opportunity.
Hard tackle moments ago between Lily Marquez and Hannah Bruce. Hannah Bruce gets up. Marquez takes a sip of water. She comes off the pitch for a second. Two-handed toss in by the Miners. Headed away by Jocelyn Bybee. Lily Marquez walks about 10 yards forward from where she last threw it to throw it in again. Jocelyn Bybee finds Rachel Anderson and took an untimely hop over her foot. She was in perfect stride to take that ball up toward the field.
It was a great find and couldn't have been even a more perfect spot for Rachel Anderson, and unfortunately it did take that hop over her foot and immediately eliminated that ball in towards goal. another dangerous opportunity here for UTEP, almost identical to their opportunity with the goal.
This one's went in toward the top of the box, headed up in the air. Bondi's still trying to get to it. Alihara still maintaining her post in between the wickets. Eventually kicked out of harm's way by the Wolverines. Final minute in the first half. Utah Valley trying to create something. This one deflects off of Hannah Bruce and goes out of play. 45 seconds in the first half. Heather Stainbrook to Brianna Hatch. Now to Nicole Olanda. Olanda with Jocelyn Bybee. Jocelyn Bybee slips by her defender. Jocelyn Bybee in the box. Jocelyn Bybee right towards Emily Parrott.
Chris LeMay giving a look of wishing that final ball by Jocelyn would have been a little bit better, away from the goalie, back in past the in between the 6 and the PK spot, the perfect spot for Sadie Brockbank to run and place it in the back of the net. Unfortunately, sent it too close to the goalie's pathway.
Sadie Brockbank trying to sneak past Parrott, and right as she gets to the ball, flag is raised, and that is how the first half will come to a close. Utah Valley and UTEP tied up at 1. Final play and offsides for Utah Valley. Overall, your first half thoughts, Melanie?
Great half by UVU. They're absolutely dominating the possession. Both goals kind of not great quality, kind of given to them. So hopefully the second half we can see a few more opportunities to create, and especially UVU finishing that final ball.
Well, at the break, it's 1-1. Either way you look at it, it's still a goal for Utah Valley in the books. But we'll take a break, we'll assess, and we'll be back after this on UVU TV, the WAC Digital Network.
How does Costa Vida create the ultimate sweet pork burrito? We start by following our award-winning recipe, one that calls for everything to be made fresh, from scratch every day. Like our beautifully braised pork, seasoned beans, savory sauces, and delicious cilantro lime rice. Even our tortillas are cooked to order. It's a difference you can taste. Treat yourself to the ultimate sweet pork burrito, only at Costa Vida.
If we can see things for what they are, if we can see what they could be, if the plastic we use, we never throw away, if the end of one thing could be the beginning of the next. If we know that less can create more. If we can return, we reciprocate, we regenerate. If we are here for others, if we can work as a team, all we have to do is connect, and the world opens up. The future is about giving back.
To national championships runs through NCAA.com and the NCAA Sports app. And whether you follow one college team or all of them, it's never been easier to get the content you want all in one place. With live broadcasts of multiple championships across all divisions. With exclusive access.
Ready to go?
And highlights for every single championship. Stay in the game all season long with NCAA.com and the NCAA Sports app.
What's the difference between buying from Murdoch and buying from somebody else? In a word, confidence. You'll love our price match guarantee, our 5-day exchange policy,
and don't forget car washes and safety inspections for life.
If you need a new vehicle, consider Murdoch Hyundai. I promise you'll love it.
Thinking of buying a home? Think bigger. Because with UCCU's low interest rates and low mortgage insurance rates, you could qualify for more house with the same payment you could get from other local lenders. A mortgage with UCCU gives you more purchase power. That means more money you can put into your home or back into your pocket. To learn more, visit uccu.com/morehouse or stop by any UCCU branch today. More house, same payment. Only at UCCU. Inspiring smart mortgage decisions.
In the WAC, we value sportsmanship on the field,
on the track, on the court, in the pool,
and in the stands.
We take pride in playing fair and being honest.
We honor the game by showing respect for our opponents,
the officials,
the fans, and our team.
Great sportsmanship is about keeping everything in perspective.
It's about taking ownership after a loss.
And being humble after a win.
We hope you'll team up with us by staying positive on the sidelines. Because great sportsmanship is what unites us.
We are the Western Athletic Conference.
Creativity is the answer. Never play on repeat. Put your own spin on things. Let a new wave begin.
All right, come on, let's go.
2 seconds. Creators run the show. We want the answer. From the cage to the stage. Rise up from the streets to the pros.
So much.
Creativity is the answer to a world divided. Tear down those walls. Make worlds unite. Flip the script. Rewrite the rules. Creativity is the answer. Now over to you.
Who am I? And furthermore, what do I want? What makes you itch? That's the most important investigation anyone can make. But you don't find this out until you investigate it. So I always ask the question, what would you like to do if money were no object? How would you really enjoy spending your life? Because if you say that money is the most important thing, you will spend your life completely wasting your time. Forget the money. After all, if you do really like what you're doing, you can eventually become a master of it. And then you'll be able to get a good fee for whatever it is. Therefore, it's so important to consider this question. What do I desire?
The latest from KSL 5 News, including breaking news as it happens, and all your favorite KSL shows, ready to watch anytime. Download the free KSL app right now on all your favorite devices.
You only need to answer one question.
Will you accept the challenge to become?
It doesn't matter your situation in life.
No matter your interest.
Whether your first choice our second chance.
There's a place for you.
Place for you. Place for you at UVU.
Place to engage, to rise, to succeed.
To become.
What's the difference between buying from Murdoch and buying from somebody else? In a word, confidence. You'll love our price match guarantee, our 5-day exchange policy,
and don't forget car washes and safety inspections for life.
If you need a new vehicle, consider Murdoch Hyundai. I promise you'll love it.
Welcome back to Clyde Field. Halftime just about over. Utah Valley and UTEP tied up at 1. Brandon Crow alongside Melanie Osler. Thank you for letting us be a part of your Saturday evening on the WAC Digital Network, on the YouTube stream for Utah Valley Athletics, and for the KSL TV app as well. UTEP got an own goal in the 10th minute courtesy of Kayla Payne, and after that, UTEP broke through Jackie Miller with the goal in the 29th minute, and that's where we stand 1-1. Early on, right out of the gate, Melanie, Utah Valley was striking first, literally within the first 10 seconds, putting a shot on goal, and they dominated possession, but towards the latter half of the first half, you saw the momentum shift, and UTEP gained a lot of confidence.
They did. Like we can see in the possession report, UVU outpossessed UTEP 53% to 47%, and exactly what you said. First part of that first half, UVU, the possession, it's almost safe to say that all the possession and attack was from them. Unfortunately, they settled in a little bit, got maybe a little tired, and that's when UTEP stepped in. So definitely something to work on and improve this second half is to carry that momentum through the whole half. We may see it be a little better with Coach Chris LeMay being able to sub as many times as he wants, getting girls in and out instead of only pulling them out once. But UTEP still hungry to kind of get on top of the score. Both goals not very great, to be honest. And so hopefully this half we can see a good quality final connection to the back of the net.
Utah Valley will be going from left to right as we see it and as you see it in their third jerseys, the midnight black editions. Ali Hara, the goalkeeper, in the pink between the posts, and UTEP and the Miners in their away whites with the blue and yellow trim on the outside. Will be going from right to left as we see it and as you see it as well. And it looks like a couple of UTEP players are coming off of the pitch momentarily. I think it is Lauren Crenshaw and Moises. I think they have some earrings that are in, and the official is not liking that, and so he wants him to go get taped up. And I don't think I saw any mention of that in the first half at all.
Yeah, it must have been a great eye by the ref, and maybe something that was bugging him the whole first half, where he had to make a mental note to tell them to tape it up, protect themselves. But overall, very precautionary of what could happen if he didn't.
Game on in the second half between the Miners of UTEP and the Wolverines of Utah Valley. 45 minutes separates these two teams. And that did not sound good. That was right in front of us.
It did not. A strong, powerful header by Megan Sullivan right into the face. That's never fun.
Lauren Crenshaw being tended to by the referee. I think she's trying to gather herself here. I'm not sure if we can see any blood or anything. Oh, I think a contact came out.
That can be a problem. Don't want to play the game without being able to see.
Can't use your hands, but you need your feet and you need your eyes.
Exactly.
And Crenshaw looks like she's okay. It's a miracle that she found her contact. Anytime players in sports lose their contacts and they're able to find it, I don't know how they do. And to be able to see that right there in the grass, crazy. But she was able to find it and get back out there on the pitch.
Yeah, that was great eyesight for not having a contact in.
And Megan Sullivan gets a running start. Amber Tripp with the flick. Sullivan. Gongo. Now Maddie Moore gets the start in the second half. Katie Haskins switches the pitch to Bree Hatch. And Hannah Bruce, that defensive side, coming all the way up, wanting the ball, wanting to be an offensive player. I guess you can call her a hybrid. She gets the ball going towards that byline. Solid defensive takeaway by the Miners. And a throw in for Utah Valley on the far side. Quick turnaround. There's a shot toward goal. This one just wide. Amber Tripp trying to catch up to it. She cannot.
A great turn by Bree DeWall, dishing it out to Heather Stainbrook, and a nice shot/cross from Heather Stainbrook, and unfortunately didn't get on the other end of Amber Tripp's foot.
Strong header again by that back line of Utah Valley. Bree DeWall slicing and dicing her way toward this near side. Maddie Moore with it. Maddie Moore stays with it. Maddie Moore, good turn by Bree DeWall. Falls right back to Gongo. Kitty Haskins. Now to Bree Hatch. And Bree Hatch has Hannah Bruce again to her left. She drops it off to Bruce. And Bruce will have the ball kicked out of play. UTEP Miners protesting their cause. The wind starting to pick up here, going from from east to west, circling above the pitch. See how that does. And see how it affects any balls played in the air. Hannah Bruce wide open on the left side of the pitch. Swings this one in toward the top of the box, headed away by Crenshaw and company for the Miners. Gongo trying to find Crenshaw. Crenshaw has it. 2 white shirts going up against 5 black shirts. Crenshaw trying to find her teammate on the left-hand side, Tessa Carlin. And this one goes all the way back to Ali Hara. '49th minute, just the start of the second half. Julie Carter, acres of space. Lays it off from Bree Hatch. Bree Hatch goes back to her right foot. Carter trying to play it through herself. Taken away by the Miners. That was a good dummy ball on the far side by UTEP, but unfortunately nobody was on the backside enough before it went out of play. We mentioned earlier, again, UTEP, the Miners with the 4-1-2 overall record coming into this match. The Miners right now have a 5-game unbeaten streak after opening up the season with the 2-2 tie against Wyoming and a 2-1 loss against ACU. And they're looking to keep that unbeaten streak alive here in Utah. Good ball turn. This one, Bree DeWall off the left boot, flicked up in the air, and caught by Parrott.
Maybe holding on to the ball a little too long by Bree DeWall, and had that first time shot. Sometimes you kind of have to evaluate that before it gets to you. I have the time now, but I may not have the time later if I take a touch. So I would have loved to seen maybe a one-touch attempt by Bree DeWall, maybe sending it into the towards the goal a little quicker and not giving time for the UTEP defense to step in front of her.
And again, that just maybe can go back to the point we made up earlier about that timing, trying to come back in that feel for the game that she really didn't have for 18 months.
Yeah, definitely, and kind of along the lines of the speed's faster, the girls are faster, the ball's faster with the newcomers. It's probably definitely the same with someone who hasn't played the game for 18 months.
You can hear that coaching from the sideline from the UTEP Miners. Stuart Gibbons and company. Michael Bulligan. Catherine Bulligan. This one played back to Hara. Hara upfield. This one headed down by Sayas. Now Maddie Moore has it for Utah Valley. Maddie Moore in the logo. Past midfield. Trying to find Julie Carter. And Carter miscommunication with Heather Stainbrook. Back into the feet of the Miners. Amber Tripp. Very dangerous. Forcing Emerson Kidd to play them back to Parrott. Stainbrook again lurking. Great touch on the far side by UTEP. Taken away by Utah Valley, however. So sent in all the way toward that corner, kept in play by the Miners. Burrito Wall trying to get there in time, couldn't quite get to it. Last touch by the Wolverines.
I love that you said that Heather Stainbrook was lurking. I think that's the perfect description for Heather and Amber in that midfield position. They do a great job of lurking around and then sneaking up on you right when it gets to you, getting their top speed. And that has been so dangerous and has resulted in a few goals this season from Heather and Amber of finally getting to their top speed, stepping without you really anticipating it.
A whistle is called against the Miners of UTEP, and this will give Utah Valley a decent look here early on in the second half. Bree Hatch will take it, and we know that Bree Hatch has a strong leg and a very accurate leg at that. See how the Wolverines set up for this one. Hannah Bruce coming in to play it off right at the corner of the box. Hannah Bruce is going to try a shot of her own. Deflected. Now the Miners are trying to counter. This one played up to Gongo. Gongo trying to slide it in toward the outside. Taken away by Utah Valley. Just in time for the Cavalry in the black shirts to come and help save the day. Utah Valley dispossesses.
A great two-man effort by Katie Haskins and Heather Stainbrook. Heather tracking back all the way from the 18 back to the other 18, and great job by them to keeping their composure and keeping the ball in front of them.
'54th minute, Utah Valley and UTEP tied up at 1. For those of you just tuning in, thank you for letting us be a part of your Saturday evening. We know there are many different interests that can come on a Saturday in September, and we thank you for letting us be a part of those interests of yours. Brandon Crow alongside Melanie Osler on the WAC Digital Network, KSL TV app, and YouTube for the Utah Valley Athletics. Parrott for UTEP, the keeper, giving the ball out to her teammates. Gongo now into the near side. Still in play. Kicked away by Utah Valley. Sayas. This one called in by the far judge, overruling the near side judge, much to the dismay of the Miners bench. Great turn by Julie Carter with the light flick to Amber Tripp on the outside. Tripp showing off that speed. Flirting with the box, now towards the byline, swings it toward that far post, curls it in. This one off of Parrott. It'll be a Utah Valley corner kick. I thought for a minute that ball might have gone in toward that side netting over there.
It looked like it was headed that direction, and maybe they can blame the wind.
Well, the wind is at Utah Valley's back right now for this corner kick, as Breda Wall will do it from the far side. In the 55th minute, Breda Wall towards that near post. Corralled by Sullivan. Played back to Maddie Moore. Maddie Moore with the low ball. Stainbrook trying to put this one back in. Eventually headed away. Now all the way back. And sent in towards Amber Tripp. Amber Tripp, too much of a first touch. This one sent in toward that far corner. Julie Carter just barely misses, trying to place this one past a diving Emily Parrott. Comes up just shy.
They're creeping closer and closer, really hugging that far post, wanting that goal. hopefully eventually getting that final goal.
Carter just trying to place it, barely missing it by inches. Hats off to our video wizard, Ben Schroeder, and his team of camera crew experts, getting the replays down for us. Now UTEP on the far side, trying to make something happen offensively. This one sent in toward the box, kicked away by Utah Valley. Stainbrook with the flick. Now into UTEP's possession. This one blasted back into the Miners field. Emerson Kidd plays it back to Parrott. Parrott upfield. Sayas. Sayas, who has a lot of open space. Sayas steps over a defender. Now they're going to swing it on that far side. A mistouch by UTEP. Still in the Miners' possession. This one sent it toward Haram, and she watches it go out of play.
A great attempt by UTEP, that getting close as well, given their turn. A beautiful possession, all started by Sayas. A great touch around Jenna Shepard, and that is probably the most crucial thing you can do to break down the UVU defensive line is get past Jenna Shepard, and you have an ultimate shot at the goal. So a great touch by Sayas as she took that touch, beat her, and sent it in. Unfortunately, didn't get on the end of it, but a great attempt by UTEP.
We're approaching the hour mark in this match. Still 1-1. 4 shots on goal for Utah Valley, 2 corner kicks. No corner kicks yet for the UTEP Miners. And their 2 shots on goal. There's a lot of speed. Gets past the defense for Utah Valley. Ali Hara coming up to make the save. 2 hands.
Showing why we've missed her these past 2 games.
Hara keeps her ground and keeps the score sheet tied 1-1. Looked like UTEP was going to slot that one through. They just snuck past that Utah Valley line of defense. Hara kept her ground. And Utah Valley on the other side. Amber Tripp dancing her way. Curling ball. Scooped up by Parrott. Trying to find a diving Julie Carter as we take another replay. And that's just textbook right there. Standing your ground with that wide stance.
Definitely. Really owning that goal by protecting it right there.
Great takeaway by Utah Valley now. Julie Carter wishes she could probably take that one back. Here comes Crenshaw. Dispossessed by Sullivan. Going upfield to Amber Tripp. This one taken back by UTEP now. Sayas. Crenshaw steps over. Bree Hatch, kick save. Bree Hatch right into perfect stride for Hannah Bruce, who lays it off for Bree DeWall. Bree DeWall still with it. Dances around, goes toward that byline. And this one flicked out of play by Corey Lewis. Quickly thrown back in for the Wolverines. Hannah Bruce slides it back down to Bree DeWall. Bree DeWall goes back toward the byline, gets upended, and a whistle is called. Free kick just outside the box for Utah Valley. Another dangerous opportunity for the Wolverines to strike. Bree DeWall with 2 hands on her hips, contemplating, thinking about her next move. Could this be the perfect ball that you were talking about, Melanie, earlier? Another set-piece opportunity for the Wolverines. Referee is going to pause. Reaches in towards his back pocket. Play on, says the referee. Here's the ball from Breedewall. Kicked on low. Trying to go towards that corner. This is kicked out of play. Be another corner kick. '62nd minute. Utah Valley with a corner. Breedewall sent this one up in the air toward that near post. This one headed down on the ground, flicked back toward goal, punched away momentarily by UTEP. Megan Sullivan showing off her speed to get it back for Utah Valley. Kicked back towards Hannah Bruce. Hannah Bruce is going to reset. Go right back at UTEP with that speed, lay it down toward that byline and Sullivan. And this one kicked out of play in front of the Utah Valley bench by UTEP. And that'll give way for a substitution for Utah Valley. Sadie Brockbank will hop on, and Julie Carter will step off. Some confusion. It looks like there was a player that was on the field. Haley Vaughn, I beg your pardon, that's Lily Marquez. Lily Marquez was on the field, slow to get up. And she comes off as Kayla Payne checks on. Utah Valley trying to throw that ball in. Couldn't quite get it in, though. Another throw in for the Wolverines. Stainbrook with the flick. Gongo for UTEP. Hannah Bruce now to Breedewall. Breedewall. Back to Bruce. And Bruce kicks this one out of play on accident. A little bit of frustration for Bruce. And 4 sets of fresh legs come in for the UTEP Miners. Soto, Carrion among them. And Jimerson as well. Gongo checks off. Tessa Carlin checks off. Fisher checks off. And Cabello checks off.
Like I mentioned at the beginning of the half, one of the most dangerous threats of second half is being able to have more frequent fresh legs. Exactly what UTEP just did, subbing in a good set of fresh legs.
'64th minute here in Orem, Utah, Clyde Field on the campus of Utah Valley University. The Wolverines of Utah Valley won, and the Miners of UTEP won as well. Sayas. Jimerson. The goal scorer. Jackie Miller now sends it across the pitch. Great ball in toward the box. UTEP has it on that byline. And they're going to call a corner kick. This one was out of play. Last touch by Utah Valley. It'd be the first corner for the Miners of UTEP.
We've seen that Jackie Miller, as she heads to take the corner, has had a dangerous kick from this distance, and so it'll be another dangerous opportunity. Hopefully UVU kind of connects on the end of it and clears it out.
Jackie Miller sent this one in toward the top of the box, kicked away by Heather Stainbrook for Utah Valley. Bodies collide, no foul is given. The ball trickles back to UTEP. Now down and kicked back into UTEP territory by the Wolverines. Amber Tripp giving chase. Amber Tripp wins this one back for Utah Valley. Amber Tripp waits for her teammates to come back as well. Sadie Brockbank finds it in the box, dispossessed by the Miners. Now Stainbrook with it. And Stainbrook elects to flick this one to the left side. And reset as Hannah Bruce. Now Bree DeWall penetrates. Bree DeWall. This one deflected off of DeWall. Emily Parrott will scoop it.
We talk a lot about Allie Jara's leadership in the goal as a fifth-year senior, as a graduate transfer. Parrott has been doing a tremendous job this game at bringing that leadership, and she's a true freshman, which is such a tough task, especially as a goalie, not really having that leader ahead of you to watch, to thrive in, and kind of follow in her footsteps. But Parrott, ultimately, hats off to her for stepping in as a true freshman since day one and leading this UTEP team to a couple of victories, as good as their record is, and a couple of shutouts as well.
'67th minute. Both teams looking for that second goal. Sullivan send this one in toward the box. Chested down nicely by Sadie Brockbank. Nice flick by Heather Stainbrook. Trying to find Sadie Brockbank again. This one played all the way back towards Hannah Bruce. Hannah Bruce now to Bree DeWall. Bree DeWall on the left side of the pitch. DeWall towards that byline. Kicked out of play. Corner awarded to the Wolverines.
Great job by Bree DeWall getting that final last touch for the deflection off of UTEP, ultimately for that scoring opportunity on the corner.
They play this one in quickly. Now there's Bruce toward the top of the box. I think she was looking for Sadie Brockbank. Was not in the right position, however. Flag was up on the far side.
A great quick step from UTEP, which prevented that offsides, and quick counter from UVU as it got dropped back to Hannah Bruce.
Brenda Crow comes in for Hannah Bruce. Nicole Alonda checks in as well for Heather Stainbrook. This is something you don't see very often. You don't see Hannah Bruce step off the pitch to gather herself very often. She's usually one of the iron horses that Coach LeMay relies upon, and the former coach, Coach Anderson, relied upon as well, giving you the full 90 and then some.
Yeah, it is strange for Hannah. A well-deserved rest, to say the least, and that probably is. She's been playing phenomenal as usual, and I think that's probably just Coach Chris LeMay's gesture of, hey, you did a great job. Hurry, get a drink, get a breather. We'll put you back in a couple minutes.
'69th minute. UTEP with the free kick. Pugsley will take it. Excuse me, Emerson Kidd, I beg your pardon. Kidd with the left foot. Bree Hatch collects it for Utah Valley. Moore to Crow. This one shanks off her foot. Out of play. Your Coach LeMay yelling, move your feet, move your feet. If she had planted her feet in a better position, maybe Crow would not have kicked that out of play. Now UTEP with the goal scorer. Looking for number 2. Top of the box. Flush back out. Crenshaw. Dancing her way through, trying to put this one in. Curler right toward Ali Hara. Started toward the outside, not even close to goal, and then bended its way right into Hari's arms. '70th minute, so 20 minutes left in regulation. Amber Tripp, the leading goal scorer for Utah Valley, surrounded by white shirts. Sullivan takes it down, kicks it upfield to Bree DeWall. Now Bree Hatch, now Sullivan again. Sullivan with the left foot, finding Sadie Brockbank. Brockbank with the turn toward goal. Brockbank with the shot! Just over the net.
And that's the shot we've been waiting for. Such a dangerous threat, such a strong leg of hers. Once she gets that couple inches of space that she needs, she will rip it, and it will nearly missed shot by Sadie Brockbank.
You could almost argue that Sadie's Brockbank is more deadly and more accurate when she doesn't have enough time or when she doesn't think. It's just a turn and just an instinctive reaction. Like that, she just barely turned and just blasted the ball.
It's true. I think you worded it perfectly. Kind of that quick trigger of getting the ball off her foot is the most dangerous opportunities for her.
Now UTEP is putting themselves in a dangerous position. More substitutions, more fresh legs to come in. Adriana Lopez will check in for the Miners. Sias will step off. Here are the Miners toward the top of the key. Crenshaw now with it. Guarded by Maddie Moore for Utah Valley. Crenshaw goes right, shows off that speed. Crenshaw trying to curl that one again, just like last time. This one sailed high about 10 more yards.
You have heard the UTEP coaches here on the sideline encouraging Crenshaw to take them 1v1 over and over again. And you can see on these past few attempts, they're encouraging her for a reason. You can see she can beat the defensive line. She can beat her initial pressure on the ball, and that shot that she is taking keeps getting more dangerous, and a very crucial part of her game to take them 1v1.
Good ball movement by the Wolverines. You mentioned Crenshaw leads the UTEP Miners with 3 goals so far on the season. A bad touch by the Wolverines gives way to a full sprint now. Adriana Lopez and company. Dispossessed by Brenna Crow. An awkward moment by Nicole Olanda. Gets back up, looks fine. Olanda trying to find Sadie Brockbank. Sadie Brockbank finds the ball, splits a couple defenders. Sadie Brockbank goes to her left, lays this one off for Brita Wall. A little bit too much on that one as it goes right into the possession and defeat of the UTEP Miners. And that's another opportunity that Sadie Brockbank could have pulled the trigger.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, she tried to lay that one off for Brita Wall.
Yeah, which is, again, not a bad option if the final pass would have been a little bit more accurate into the space, into the running lane of Brita Wall for her to run into it and have a good quality shot towards goal. But unfortunately, wasn't as accurate as Sadie Brockbank wanted to, wasn't really in the path of Brita Wall and more in the path of the defensive line for UTEP.
Great touch that time by Maddie Moore. Just barely unable to get past that UTEP defense. Sullivan steps in front for Utah Valley. One right back by the Miners of UTEP. This last 15 minutes is going to get very interesting.
It is. This is where, especially with a 1-1 tie, this is where emotions start getting high. For a good reason. They want to finish the game. Both teams are in search for that one goal that's going to put them on top. But sometimes these emotions and the hecticness of it can be detrimental to the teams. And so whoever can control those emotions and still play their game and have that patience and composure is ultimately the team who's going to end up on top.
And again, UTEP has the 5-game unbeaten streak riding on their back as well. And they've been in familiar positions where they've had to fight back and claw their way through tight games. Utah Valley's been on the short end of that stick so far this season, and they're trying to change their ways, if you will. This one goes out of play, awarded to the Miners of UTEP. 75th minute. Now into the 76th minute. UTEP in the box. Now toward the byline. Kicked out of play. It'll be a corner kick for the Miners. Their second corner kick of the match, second of the half. Here's the corner kick. This one sent in toward the top of the box, headed down and away. Nothing threatening. Ali Hara, goal kick for the Wolverines. Brenda Crow to Nicole Olanda. Olanda back to Crow. Crow mistimed with Tripp. Taken away nicely by Pugsley and company. Now Tripp taken down from behind. If you heard the French language in the background, we beg your pardon. Some tempers are becoming a little bit higher for these squads. Olanda will set to take the free kick for the Wolverines. 77th minute. Sadie Brockbank making a run.
Little premature run. Ref still typing writing in the book, but it was a great idea. Unfortunately, can't use it again on this one.
Maybe that was part of her plan to try and see what they were going to do. Nevertheless, here comes Nicole Olanda. Nicole Olanda send this one in toward that top side of the backside. Bree Hatch is going to let it fly. This one goes off of her teammate Amber Tripp right in the rib cage. Tripp for a moment, going to gather her breath. We know that Hatch packs a punch with that kick. And UTEP is going to escape without Utah Valley having a shot on goal.
Thanks to Amber Tripp's face.
So UTEP wanting a foul against Amber Tripp. Amber Tripp again helping the UTEP Miners by deflecting her own shot. And this one kicked out of play by Haskins. 77th minute. Stainbrook and Bruce set to check back in for the Wolverines. This one kicked out of play will be Utah Valley throw-in. And that will give way for Stainbrook and Bruce to check in. Colanda. And Brenna Crow will step off. Megan Sullivan will come from all the way across the field. And Crenshaw keeps this one in play right to Amber Tripp. Amber Tripp flicks this one upfield. Nobody home for Utah Valley. And Crenshaw will throw it in for the Miners. Bree Hatch upfield. Sadie Brockbank putting pressure on Parrott. Now here comes Stainbrook as well. UTEP just barely gets that one away. Here comes Crenshaw with some open space. Crenshaw going 1v1 against Hatch. Crenshaw lays this one off. Sullivan gets a toe on it. Taps it out of play. And substitution for the Miners of UTEP coming in. Ayana Noel. And she will check in for Jackie Soto. Headed away by Jenna Shepard. Placed back toward that backside. Here comes Allie Hard. Scoop it up for the Wolverines. 80th minute. Got 10 minutes left to play in regulation. Julie Carter is set to check back in for the Wolverines at the next moment. Hannah Bruce. Big booming kick upfield. Trying to find Brita Wall. See who elects to take this kick for UTEP. Final 10 minutes of regulation, Melanie. We see the angst, the stress, the anxiety starting to form. How do you mentally keep yourself in check and keep yourself focused to not let that brief moment lapse?
You just got to keep playing your game. We've seen in games past, once you take that second pause, that little mental break, that's when something crucial is going to happen. 100% engage these next 11 minutes, playing your game. That's ultimately the best. It's easy to kind of stoop down to different playing styles or different teams' level and aggression if you're not playing your own. And so ultimately, calming it down, keeping your composure, keeping your cool, doing what you do best, and play your game. Your game is what's going to beat other teams, not you trying to do anything else.
Stainbrook wins this one back for Utah Valley. Hannah Bruce now to Bree Hatch. Bree Hatch is going to collect it, send it back. Now Megan Sullivan on the near side. 81st minute. Now into the 82nd minute. Less than 10 minutes to play in regulation. This one sent up to the no man's land, really, in that corner. And the ball given back to UTEP. Sullivan with the tap. Stainbrook now to Tripp. Tripp going to that right side. Tripp receives a bump from Crenshaw. And a touch. Corner kick. Utah Valley trying to take it quickly. Referee blowing his whistle to stop it.
This is also the moment in soccer that you need to capitalize on every single opportunity. You don't know what play is going to be the final play or the most crucial play, and so capitalizing every opportunity, including this corner, is very crucial with a 1-1 tie going into the final minutes of the game.
Hannah Bruce sends this one toward the top of the box. Flicked on the corner, on the ground, just out of the outstretched arms of Emily Parrott, but just wide was Sadie Brockbank's shot.
If only the UVU team could maybe shift their shots a few inches to that right of that left post, we could be up a few goals by now.
But in the same vein, like you credited Parrott earlier, she put herself in a great position where full stretch Superman dive still saves her team those couple inches.
She sure did.
Here come the Miners and UTEP. Crenshaw, blazing speed, flies into Sullivan. Sullivan gets upended after a huge collision with Crenshaw. UTEP ball. UTEP's going to place this one in a dangerous spot. Kept on the ground. Finally punched away momentarily by the Wolverines. Danger time. Utah Valley escapes. Now Brita Wall trying to play the through ball. Kicked down by UTEP. Hannah Bruce coming back from her defender spot, showing off her speed on the left side. And the ball is kicked, still in play. And a clear and obvious foul, as again the tensions, like you said, Melanie, starting to get to the better of people. Another yellow card is administered.
For a good reason. You can see here in this replay the full arm pull back
That was from moments ago, the collision that had Coach LeMay and Coach Tremblay up off their chairs for Utah Valley.
You hear the complaints from UTEP's coach that it's the first foul, shouldn't be a yellow card booking, but when it's that bad, something needs to happen to keep the emotions down.
And here comes UTEP straight through that Utah Valley middles. Megan Sullivan coming in, saving it because Ayana Noel was on the perfect left-hand side in momentum. Now here's Bree Hatch for Utah Valley. Past midfield. Bree Hatch has Amber Tripp to her right. Amber Tripp trying to do the dummy, taken away by Crenshaw. 85th minute. Crenshaw just past midfield. Crenshaw going around Hatch. Hatch pulling her. And a whistle is called. And Bree Hatch will get a yellow card, join the yellow club.
UTEP really giving it their all these last final minutes. Definitely have vamped up their energy to a new energy that we haven't seen for the whole game.
Jackie Miller is going to come over and receive some coaching before she takes this free kick. Jackie Miller comes over, as well as Danielle Carrion. Carrion hustles back to get into her position. And Miller stands over the ball, takes 2 steps, little chip shot. Headed back, now Miller has it again, punched away finally by Heather Stainbrook for Utah Valley. All the way back to Parrott.
With all the time in the world.
Julie Carter is on. Julie Carter with the head down towards herself. Julie Carter trying to slot this one through. And she looks back at her coach, and she's receiving some instruction on how to be a little bit more patient in those circumstances.
Patience is definitely the key word there. She didn't have too many defenders to beat if she stayed on her feet, getting a better prep touch for that final shot.
It's a great ball by UTEP. This one shot right at Alihara. Alihara is cool as a cucumber in a pool of hot sauce. 5th-year senior between the posts, standing her ground, not showing any intimidation whatsoever. '86th minute, less than 5 minutes to play in regulation, still 1-1. Ayana Noel. Noel onside, flag stays down, trying to slide this one through. And they're going to call a whistle against UTEP. Meanwhile, Tessa Carlin has been standing in front of us here, waiting to be subbed in for probably 5-6 minutes now. No exaggeration.
Usually tends to happen in the last final minutes where the ball just does not go out of bounds for those last final subs.
This one played in toward the near post, scooped up by Emily Parrott. 87th minute, halfway over. Parrott's ball still in minor territory. Now Julie Carter lays it off for Amber Tripp. Amber Tripp. Now Megan Sullivan. Amber Tripp again for the Wolverines. Amber Tripp slicing and dicing her way to get her own space. Send this one towards that back post. Headed down into the back of the net. Utah Valley finds the second goal. Surely this should be the winner in the 88th minute.
What a beautiful goal. Beautiful team effort from UVU. Couldn't have had a more beautiful goal to hopefully end the game and wrap it up.
The pressure's been mounting for both teams. In the 88th minute in front of their home crowd, Utah Valley finds the second goal, which looks to be the winning goal, but you never say never.
Never, especially in these last final minutes. 30 seconds, it could be completely something else. Amber Tripp doing an awesome job getting the defenders to step. Sends a beautiful ball in. Looks like Jenna Shepard headed it in and Julie Carter ricocheting it back in.
Julie Carter is credited with the second goal in the 88th minute. Jenna Shepard heads the ball down. Julie Carter in the right place at the right time. As calm as you'd like with the left foot in the back of the net.
What a great hustle by Jenna Shepard. Center back all of a sudden to center forward.
Set up by that run by Amber Tripp.
Yes.
But we know how dangerous number 39 can be. Miller sets up, runs up, puts a lot of air underneath it. This one bouncing all over. Team saved, kick save by Utah Valley. Ali Hara came out of her position.
Cleared out by Jenna Shepard.
Julie Carter maybe adding another goal. Trying to lay this one off for Heather Stainbrook. Instead, she's going to yoke some time off the clock, and Carter's limping. Amber Tripp trying to win this one back for Utah Valley. Can't keep it in play. It'd be a UTEP throw right in front of their own bench. So we have less than 90 seconds left to play in regulation. These are the moments that you live for, right? When you're a player, tight games like this.
They are. They may be the moments you can credit the gray hair when you're older, but the emotion on the UTEP bench definitely not paying in their favor. Something very crucial for the coaches to keep in mind, that you need to keep your cool or your team's not going to keep their cool.
Well said. Yeah, here comes UTEP again. UTEP's trying to play spoiler here. Still has time to find that equalizing goal. It would be heartbreak for the Wolverines. Ball's flying all over the pitch. Final minute as Amber Tripp boots this one upfield. Kayla Payne keeps it in play. Stainbrook flicks it for Utah Valley. Hannah Bruce on her horse. Full sprint, corrals it for the Wolverines. And she's just going to lay this one up. Time continues to tick away. The time is on the Wolverines' side. 30 seconds left at regulation. Frantic for the Miners of UTEP. Hannah Bruce flies up to win the header. Julie Carter with it. Julie Carter trying to kick it in the corner. Maddie Moore for the Wolverines. Now Brita Wall. Brita Wall with 15 seconds left. And this one's going to go out of play. And Utah Valley will throw it in, smile, and breathe as they escape with a 2-1 victory over the Miners of UTEP. The Miners' 5-game unbeaten streak is broken. And Utah Valley's victorious. They go to 3-0 at home, Melanie. And you said this was a litmus test based off of the teams from the Western Athletic Conference that UTEP has beaten in this season. There you have it, Utah Valley victorious, something that half the WAC has not been able to do so far.
Exactly. It's awesome. It wasn't easy. So that's definitely something to remember and take into conference of they're going to have to capitalize and finish their opportunities. But ultimately, a great job by both teams. Both really brought it this second half, and what a beautiful, phenomenal goal to end the game with.
Again, Utah Valley victorious, 2-1. They're going to try and parlay this momentum to a home game against Crossroad rival. I don't know anywhere else in the country where you can find two Division I programs that are separated by less than 5 miles on the same road.
Yeah.
But they're going to gear up for nationally ranked BYU. And we're going to have that here for you on Monday, 7:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. For all of our hardworking staff and crew behind the scenes, for Ben Schroeder, for all of our camera crew, as well for Melanie Osler, I am Brandon Crow saying so long and good night from Orem, Utah. The Wolverines are victorious 2-1 over the Miners from UTEP.